All right, guys, Dr. Brady here, and we have my dad here. Today we're going to get my dad adjusted here. So he's got a couple things going on. So we've already known he has this disc issue. He got that done a long time ago. He's also a big tennis player. So we're going to show you some things we do specifically for tennis players. And then he also is saying he's got a rib out today. Is it feeling right around there? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's got a rib out right here. So we're going to get that adjusted on him and just get him rocking and rolling here. So let's start in his mid-back. Already moving, huh? Mm-hmm. Nice, good. So we're actually going to do the rib on his back. Those tend to move a little bit better on the back. But let's get him checked out, see what we're working with here. So just by looking at him here, you probably can't see it on the camera, but he's definitely rotated in the rib cage. You can definitely see this whole right side is a lot higher, or excuse me, this left side's a lot higher than this right side over here. So he's got a lot of rotation in the mid-back, and that's likely coming from some of that rib that he's compensating for. And then definitely tighten this hip too. So we're going to get all that checked out today. So let's start. Now for my dad here, we've been adjusting him for a while, so we know for him, he doesn't do well going on the side, just doesn't quite get the same thing. So we're actually going to use the drop table for him. That seems to work a lot better. Allows us to get a really deep adjustment without having to hear clicks and pops put on the side. So people who don't like to hear the clicks and the pops, this is a great alternative as well. So we're just going to test the table here. We're going to adjust this hip here. Good. Good. One more. Good. Now, especially for disc issues, we want to try to open that disc as much as possible. So we're going to do a couple driving this way on the tailbone and just opening up that disc. Great for people who have any sort of disc issues. Really helps to open up that disc. Good. Okay. Let's have you flip over for me, sir. So now, because he's playing tennis, and tennis is such an active sport here, and there's a lot of lateral movement, we're definitely going to check the hips. And you can see for him, when I turn these in, we don't get as much rotation, inward rotation on this other one. Can you see that okay there? So you can see definitely a lot less. He's even looking at that right now. A lot less on this side. So what we're gonna do a hip adjustment on this one. Good. That was great. So now let's recheck again. So Christy, bring this in. Let's see what we got here. A lot more even now. Now we're looking good. So he had a little bit of a hip issue on that left side. And then now what we're gonna do is we're gonna check the neck. Now, especially for tennis players, they're using a lot of one single arm. Sometimes they're using the other arm for some backhand, but a lot of it takes place on one shoulder more than the other. So for him especially, he's had some issues with tennis elbow in the past. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on his lower neck in particular here, C5, C6. Those control a lot of the nerves that go down to the arm, help control that arm motion for tennis. And a lot of times that'll be the main one here. So for him, he can feel that right there in that lower neck. So this is C6 today. Good. Beautiful. We really want to make sure we get right on that C6 because that's where those nerves are. They come right down the arm. And then we're going to do one more in this upper level, up here, C2. Beautiful. Perfect. Just a little decompression on the spine there. Beautiful. All right, so now we're going to fix this rib of his, and then we're going to work on the shoulder. So scoot down just a little bit for me. Cross the arms real big. Bear hug. There we go. Just getting too jacked, man. Here we go. So for him, this rib is right down here. Feel that there?
Yes, I do.
Yep. So now deep breath. Just let those shoulders drop back into the table. Beautiful. There we go. And those are sore. Those are not the most fun things to work on there. So I'm going to have you sit up for me. Kick your feet over towards that wall. Just like that. And then slide over a little bit this way. So I'm going to show you too, especially for tennis players, the big thing we're looking at especially is the elbow. A lot of people get the tennis elbow on this outside over here, and a lot of that comes from the neck. That's a lot of those nerves that come down this way, and if there's tension on these nerves up here, it's going to mess these muscles coming down to the elbow, and a lot of people will get some tennis elbow from that. The other one we're going to look at here is the radial head. So you have two bones in your forearm, one here, one here. This one right over here has a little circle on it and allows you to rotate your arm back and forth. Really important for tennis, especially with your forehand. So let that relax for me. We're going to check his radial head. So his radial head's really tight. So what we're going to do what's called a radial head adjustment. So we're just going to rotate that in, let that drop. Nice, beautiful. And that moved really good. Now the next one we're going to look at, because that radial head goes all the way down to the wrists, obviously we're going to check the wrists for a tennis player. And you can hear that little bit of clicking and popping in there. Good. And that just frees up all those bones in the wrists. We're also going to do one more right here. Good. Beautiful. And he's ready to rock and roll.
Thanks, sir.
You got it.